chat we go with Chris Broussard. Brou is joining us live in New York, where the Knicks hammered them. And the Knicks, by the way, without Julius Randle, have actually feel like, we talked about this. So Luka got in his way in Dallas, and then he left, and we're like, oh, he's better than we thought. And then Julius Randle gets hurt, and I'm watching him now and thinking, is Julius Randle getting in his way? It does beg the question, is New York in the running for the second-best team in the East this morning after Boston?
Oh, yeah, they're in the running for that. There's no question about it because of how bad the East is. I mean, when you compare the East to the West, the East is in bad shape. So let's look. Milwaukee, obviously you have the injury to Giannis, but even if he's healthy, they look like they're a mess. Philadelphia looking better with Joel Embiid. And Colin, we're going to find out come playoff time if Joel Embiid's decline in the postseason in production has been due to him being worn down by the regular season, or is it a mental issue there? Is he a James Harden type who kind of gets too tight in the playoffs and doesn't play his best? We'll find out because he's rested. So if he doesn't play well in these playoffs, then we're going to know, okay, there's an issue there. There's a mental block that keeps him from performing on the big stage. But Philly's got questions. Miami, which obviously is just an 8th seed, but we always talk about Heat culture, they haven't looked good all year. So unless they can somehow find some magic, they're not a threat. So, yeah, with all those teams, the Knicks can compete. And I think the Knicks' ceiling is the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Boston, if they don't beat themselves, they should be able to win the East and get to the championship this year because the conference is just weak. And quickly on Jalen Brunson, shades of Derrick Rose under Tom Thibodeau. Remember, you had a bunch of Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, Carlos Boozer, some really good high-level role players, almost stars, and then Derrick Rose was the offense. That's how the Knicks look without Julius Randle because offensively it's Jalen Brunson, and that could be their downfall eventually as they get to the conference finals. It's going to all be on Brunson's shoulders as far as scoring. And I think he could be worn down if they get that deep, and then Boston will take him out.
By the way, I take Jalen Brunson over D. Rose because he's a much better natural shooter, maybe not as springy and dynamic. But I think we talked about Jalen Brunson. Take Ewing out. I think I'd take him over Frazier and Allen Houston and Carmelo Anthony. I think he's that good. Listen.
Wow.
I think he's great. I think this happens sometimes to Villanova guys is that they're not 5-star guys. They're not slam dunk champ guys. Yep. Villanova guys are crafted on work ethic, defense, leadership, intelligence, and we don't appreciate that stuff enough. And I think Jalen Brunson is the best quarterback in New York, including Aaron Rodgers and Daniel Jones. I honestly, when I watched him play in Chicago a couple weeks ago, he's better in person. I mean, you think I'm crazy? I think Luka, you look at it now, and I'm like, Luka just got in his way.
Well, they didn't know how to use them together, clearly. Now you see Kyrie, another big scorer. He's working well with Luka. So they didn't know how good Brunson was. And when you look at the money they could have got him for, it's a travesty that he's gone. But it's worked out because they got Kyrie. Here's the thing. You're right as far as the jump shot versus Derrick Rose. It was just a different NBA, Colin. You remember that when Rose was dominating, the three wasn't as big. So in that era, Rose was dynamic, obviously. Can't take Brunson over Walt Clyde Frazier. But the others, I mean, there's an argument there. But give me Clyde. But, no, he's having a great year. He's going to be, I think, second team All-NBA. Some people around here are jumping on me because I'm not going to put him on my first team. So, but second team, that's good.
Okay, so I said this. J-Mac and I went to the Laker-Warrior game. Golden State couldn't miss. Anthony Davis didn't play. But I said if they played again in the play-in, one or done, I would take the Lakers. AD would be back. Teams that get roasted, especially at home, like Phoenix against the Clippers, always play great the next time they meet. I think the league's in danger of the Warriors getting bounced in the play-in. If I said Western Conference play-in, who are you sure is coming out of it, and who do you feel strongly won't?
Well, I got to be honest. I'm not sure anybody will, just because it's a one and done. And that's why you're right. In a 7-game series, I'm definitely or leaning strongly toward the Lakers over Golden State because of their size. With AD in there, it's a whole different thing. Draymond even admitted that after the last game. But in a one-and-done scenario where we know Golden State can get hotter than any team in the league from three, and that's the danger. Even if AD had played the other night, it might not have been that different with Golden State shooting 63% from the arc. So that's the danger of I would probably pick the Lakers in this one and done. But, man, you better hope Golden State doesn't have one of those nights. And then the Lakers got Sacramento. If they could end up playing them. They've owned the Lakers. AD's never beaten Domantas Sabonis in 9 games. So that'll be tough. Malik Monk's out, so that could help the Lakers. And then Phoenix, who knows? I mean, you said it earlier, down 35-4 to the Clippers. And now, I think it was the Clippers, but down 35-4 in a game a couple games ago. But you just don't know what you're going to get with them. So in a one-and-done scenario, here's the thing, Colin. One of the great stars of this era, LeBron, Steph, or KD, is going to be watching the postseason from the sideline. So, man.
Yeah. By the way, I said this. We talked about Bronny to the NBA. This is a historically bad draft. And currently, the Lakers draft 55 second round. If you look at who would be drafted at the 55 spot if it's not Bronny, it's guys that they're at best, they're bench guys, deep bench guys. Yeah. And my takeaway was if you go look at Bronny before the cardiac arrest and look at him now, he's still playing catch up. He's probably best served to go to college, but I would have no trouble in a weak draft saying, if it makes LeBron happy, let's do it. And he's a good kid. Everybody says he's a plus defender. He can shoot. He's not quite there yet. In NBA circles, are people bothered by Bronny getting drafted if he's not right now better than current players?
It's interesting because you would think so, and I'm sure there are some players that he's going to be, competing with positions for and make money for. They may feel a certain way. But look, we've got Giannis's brothers in the league. You had J.R. Smith's brother, Chris Smith, with the Knicks for a minute. So, surprisingly, a lot of people are like, hey, it is what it is. And I haven't heard a ton of negative comments. Now, most people feel like, or not all people, he's not ready at this moment. And someone told me the other day, the Lakers might not have to draft him, right? You could just sign him as a free agent, bring him to camp, use your draft pick on somebody else and sign him and bring him to camp and then put him on the team after summer league, training camp, whatever. And so I do think he'll wind up with the Lakers. And you were talking about Jalen Brunson earlier. The thing about the Villanova guys, Colin, is that they tend to stay 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
They come in, they might not be as touted as some of the other high school superstars, but they work. And when they get to the NBA after 3 or 4 years, they're smart players. They work hard. They've improved. And we see them succeed time and time again. Kyle Lowry, Randy Foye, now Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo in the NBA. So Bronny right now certainly doesn't look like an NBA player, but if he puts in the work, he can work on his jump shot. He can work on his ball handling. He could possibly be, at some point, a rotation player in the league.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.